let's move on to the playing 11 now, the ideal playing 11 that we have constructed individually. So I'll begin with mine. So up front, I think we'll have a lot of similarities, but I think when it comes to the middle order, maybe we'll have a few differences. At the top of the order, I have Quinton de Kock. The explosiveness of Quinton de Kock, I think, and his keeping ability is exceptional too, because he's, as I mentioned earlier, he's quite an agile and mobile individual on his own, that when he keeps, he takes some, blinders. And we've seen that so often, that one catch he took of Rohit Sharma when RCB won that game against MI in 2017. And then off late in the World Cup, he took one against Kohli, a goalkeeper style catch. So we've seen it time and time again. He makes it look so easy. Then I have Rohit Sharma opening the innings. I think the left and right hand combination takes care of itself. And there is nothing more dynamic than de Kock and Rohit up front. And I think Rohit Sharma off late is coming from his World Cup form. I think he's got great momentum coming into the IPL. Although there is a 5-month break, but still, I feel he'll be ready to go. And at number 3, I have the likes of Suryakumar Yadav. I think he's done a great job opening the innings, as you mentioned. I think Neil mentioned this earlier on, that he's used to opening the innings. So I think number 3 is the best possible replacement to opening. So I'm putting him at 3, and he's been in stellar form of late as well. So there's no doubt that he's playing at 3 for me. And then there is Ishan Kishan. I think he's the sort of bloke that he'll go all guns blazing fearlessly. So after Suryakumar Yadav, I think they're polar opposites, and that makes them such a good combination as at 3 and 4, because Ishan Kishan is so fearless that he'll go after the bowling. And you'll have the likes of Suryakumar Yadav to maneuver the ball here and there, get the singles, keep things moving, and play basic cricket basically. Then I have Hardik Pandya at 5. I think Hardik Pandya, he needs to start stepping up in terms of, I think he needs to play that dual role for Mumbai, in the sense that he just doesn't need to go bang, bang, bang in the latter stages of the game, but also needs to understand the needs of his teams, because there will be times, I predict there will be a time where spinners are going to get the better of the Mumbai top order, and then you'll be trottering at around 60 for 4 maybe, and then you'll need the likes of Pandya, Pollard and Krunal Pandya to step up, right? So I think Pandya needs to learn to play that dual role. So I'm going to put him at 5. And Krunal Pandya, I like him. I used to like him, but he's not been in the best of forms of late. He's not the most convincing spinner out there. He did decently in that one T20 game he got in New Zealand, I remember, where he hit a few sixes. But other than that, nothing very convincing about him. Then you guys can contribute too if you want. Like, if you have any major point to make about a certain player, you can justify. Then
I think the middle order is quite flexible actually. I think Pollard, Pandya and the other Pandya don't have to play necessarily in that order, because Krunal is a left-hander. If you have a leg spinner or a left-arm spinner bowling, you can push Krunal in the order. So I think that way Mumbai Indians has that flexibility. But obviously, that being said, all 3 of these batsmen are not likely to play that anchor's role. So if there is a top order collapse, and there probably will be, considering the great spin options that the other teams have, I think the middle order might struggle a little bit, but we'll see. It's possible, but
there were a lot of questions being raised against Kieron Pollard, and I think he's proved to the world that this West Indian is not an ordinary, just a bystander, and he's going to step up for his team when needed. I think when he was handed the captaincy as well, he did very well, and he won that game against KXIP with that quick fire 83 that he got of 30 odd balls. So he's probably in the form of his life right now.
And he's captaining the Trinbago Knights currently, and he's performing well. He's in great
form. He recently chased down 70 odd of the last 40 overs. His score was around 75 and 28 balls. So he is in a pretty good form as well.
Then at 8, you could have the likes of a Trent Bolt or a James Pattinson. I've included both in my lineup. I feel up front with a new ball, you'll need someone like a James Pattinson, especially. I think the likes of James Pattinson and Trent Bolt up front with the new ball, I think they are very instrumental, especially Trent Bolt. I think Indians usually don't have a lot of left-armers in their nets or in the domestic circuit. So I think a left-armer can really shake up an Indian batsman up front. So like a Virat Kohli or KL Rahul, especially for KXIP. So a left armer is really helpful. And you saw what Bolt did in the World Cup semi-final as well. He's probably at his peak at the moment. Last but not least, I have Rahul Chahar, the leg spin of Rahul Chahar. I think he's had a very convincing few seasons with the Mumbai Indians, and he's quite a find for them, as I mentioned earlier. So, and he's the only lead spinner. He's the premier spinner for the Mumbai Indians this season. So he'll be having a lot of responsibility on his shoulders, and I hope he delivers, because I don't want a youngster to burden with responsibility. So he's quite young. And I hope the pressure doesn't get the better of him, right? Because it can get to you if you feel like, your performances determine where your team's heading in the tournament. So what do you guys think?
But personally, I don't understand the inclusion of James Pattinson, because I think Delhi Capitals, when they had an extra opener in Jason Roy, and when he got injured, they brought in a bowler instead and strengthened their bowling. But with Mumbai Indians, I didn't understand why they replaced Malinga with James Pattinson. Obviously, he's a bowler, and you want a like-for-like replacement. But they have so much pace bowling. They, as we mentioned before, they have Bumrah, they have Hardik, they have McClanahan, they also have Bolt. You have 4 bowlers, and you don't need that many pacers in the UAE. I think they could have gotten a foreign. They could have gotten a foreign leg spinner like an Adam Zampa. The RCB took him, but they could have gotten the likes of maybe an Adil Rashid, who's such a great T20 bowler for England. I think they missed a trick there by not buying a foreign spinner, and that could have actually made them. They would have strengthened the lineup really if they had another great world-class spinner like an Adil Rashid or maybe even a Nathan Lyon. So I think they missed a trick there by picking James Pattinson instead of an overseas.
Yeah, I agree.
Me and Vedansh discussed this before the video actually, and we have the same playing 11. So for us, our first opener is Surya Kumar Yadav. It may come as a shock to you guys because you would want to see Rohit Sharma opening the innings like he does for India. But personally, we think solely in the IPL for the Mumbai Indians, if you see Surya's 2018 performance, I think he was the main man to stand up for the team. He made 50s consistently for the team. Whereas Rohit, when he's opening, he's not that consistent, and especially because he struggles against spin. I think Surya is a much better option at the top, and that is why I think Surya for us is opening the innings with Quinton de Kock.
And also, I think if in my team for Mumbai Indians, if after 6 overs I'll have the score 30-2, rather than having lost Rohit Sharma, I would rather have lost Surya Kumar Yadav. I think Sky is a very good player, but I think even though Rohit struggles against spin, I'll still have him on the pitch if Mumbai is in any kind of, I think, pressure.
Can I just say something? I'll just quickly point this out. I feel it's very interesting to see that I'm not pointing straight at you, but I just want to say, generally Indians, when Virat Kohli sent MS Dhoni at number 7 instead of at number 3, with the ideology that you don't want to lose such a big player at such a crucial juncture in the game, it was heavily criticized. But when I'm saying that finally let Rohit Sharma open the innings, there are doubts as to what if he gets out, what if this happens. Such vulnerability is bound to be there if you look at things in a negative perspective. So why is there?
I think solely looking at the IPL performance, we're not saying we're not looking at more than looking at Rohit as a negative. We're looking at Surya Kumar Yadav as a huge positive. Because if you see that 2018 season, just see the stats, see the way he took apart the bowling lineup.
All I was countering was
in the IPL.
All I was countering was the fact that he's saying, what if he gets out? Then what happens to the team? That's the sort of thought process that I am questioning. That in that sense, anyone can get out. Even de Kock can get out. Then what happens? Or if you send Surya Kumar at the top, then even he can get out. That way, having that vulnerability or that doubt in your mind that what if he gets out, that's not the right way to look at things. You could say that he's not at the best form and that's why you're not picking him. That's a different question altogether. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and personally for me, I'm solely speaking based on the performance of past year's IPL. Because if you see Rohit at 4, if you see the way he has performed, especially in the 2015 final, I think he made a 50 of just 26 balls coming in the middle order. I think that just I think it was at 3
He
or
played
4,
at
not too
three. He
sure,
played
but
at three. He played at three.
yeah, but it was still in the middle order. So I think Rohit Sharma in the IPL for me personally should bat. Obviously, he won't. Mumbai Indians will not send him down at 4. But this is obviously what our playing 11 is. So we are putting Surya in the opening position and Rohit at 4. I think for me personally, just based on previous IPL records, Rohit is much better at 4.
I wouldn't mind Rohit at 3 and Kishan at 4 too. I think that
Yeah, that
also
works.
could be
I
done.
think, as I said before, Mumbai has that flexibility. They have a lot of right-handers and left-handers, so they can easily switch around Rohit, Ishan, and even Hardik Pollard, depending on the situation. If the openers take it to the 15th over, then you don't probably need Ishan Kishan to come in. Maybe you can directly send your Pollards and your Pandya brothers. So that way, they have great flexibility in their batting lineup. And then after, obviously, Ishan Kishan, I think it's pretty similar to Sriram's team. We have the Pandya brothers and Pollard in the middle order. And then we have, yeah, I think that fixes till 7. And then, so you have at 8, we have picked Coulter because I think in the World Cup, if you see, he scored a 90 odd. He's not that great with the ball. He's decent. He can swing the ball well. I think against
True.
India and in ODI, he took 3 wickets up front. So I think he's great with a new ball. His death bowling probably needs to be worked on, but he's great with a new ball. And his batting process is obviously pretty good, as we saw in the World Cup against West Indies. I think he scored a 90 odd, and that is why we have we have Coulter at 8.
But are you
And
picking him
also,
just
I
sorry,
think
just sorry. Are you picking him for his batting or his bowling? Because you said his bowling is poor and his batting he didn't perform. It wasn't as if he scored a few good innings. He got that 190 and then he was back to his original, right? So what exactly are you
So
picking him for? Because you said his dead bowling isn't good. His new ball, like if it especially it's not going to swing that much in the UAE, so his main weapon is has been diluted. So what are
no,
you?
we're picking him because he's a utility player. He's going to contribute in all 3 aspects. But if you see, so you'll understand why. If you pick if you pick both Bolt and McLanigan, then your batting depth is weakened because then you have McLanigan batting at 8, who's not that great with the bat. And if, as we said before, your top order collapses, you don't have that batting depth. Obviously, you don't need that batsman at 8. But I think Coulter is great in all 3. He's a utility player, is what we're saying. And we would not play Bolt and McLanigan together because obviously you need that variety in your bowling lineup as well. You need a right arm pacer and you need a left arm pacer. Playing 2 left arm pacers
What
might
if you
not
play?
work in
What
your
if you play
favor.
Pattinson and Bolt? That's what I've
I
played.
think Pattinson isn't that experienced in the T20 format. I think Coulter has had the taste of the IPL before.
Okay.
And he can also contribute with the bat. I
Yeah.
don't think Pattinson, he's good with the bat and he's a lefty as well, but he hasn't had the taste of the IPL. So I think Coulter for us fits at 8. Then you have Bolt / McLanigan, depending on the form and obviously who's playing better. I think they'll start
and
with Bolt, but McLanigan also might play depending on Bolt. So I'm going
McLanigan
Bolt.
is becoming a little, he's aging away right now. He's not at the peak of his powers at the moment. So I think, and considering that he's come off a very good World Cup, Trent Bolt, I think they'll go with him.
And then we have Rahul Chahar at 10. Obviously, he's your frontline spinner in the attack. Obviously, we talked about the lack in quality of spin bowling, but obviously Rahul Chahar plays at 10. And then finally we have Jasprit Bumrah at 11. And so that is our 11. And
And yeah,
we
now
can move on
let's
to our predictions
Yeah,
now.
now let's move on to our predictions for where we think Mumbai Indians will end up by the 10th of November in the league's table. So let's starting with me. I think I'm backing the Mumbai Indians to top the table and end up winning the IPL this time around. I know it's a lot of the Mumbai fans will be saying 2019 now 2021 and this is 2020. So how are you saying that? But I personally feel we may be to an extent. I don't want to sound like spin isn't important in the UAE, but I just want to say that we may be overplaying the phenomena of spin bowling we may be I'm just speculating here, we may be overplaying the phenomena of spin bowling in the UAE, because I think considering that MI have a complete squad and bat till 7, if you like you said, if Coulter bats, you bat till 8. You've got a very strong batting lineup. You have the likes of, you're the best bowler in the world in the form of Jasprit Bumrah. You have Trent Bolt. You've made the inclusion of Trent Bolt. So your death bowling is sorted in that sense. So I think we may be overplaying the concept of spin bowling. So keeping that in mind, I am backing Mumbai Indians to win the final because um, I know people may be pointing out, they don't have the most complete spin bowling department, and they only have the inexperienced likes of Anukul Roy and Jayant Yadav, who haven't played a lot of IPL games. But still, I think I'm going to go with my gut feeling and say that Mumbai Indians is gonna
And
win the
also,
finals.
to add to the spin factor, I think for a tournament like IPL, wherever it happens, I think the curators would try to make a batting pitch like not a spin friendly wicket. I think people
Yeah.
more often enjoy, I guess
That's true.
bowler
High
friendly
scoring
Yeah.
pitches,
games.
especially pacers or batting friendly. So I think
That-
more than the pitches, I think the heat will be a factor to support the spinners. I think in the latter part of the tournament, Mumbai will start to feel a need of a second frontline spinner rather than the first part
I
as the
remember. I remember one
tournament
of the.
goes on.
I remember one of the players. I think was saying that he talked to. I think it was Rishabh Pant. I think he talked to one of the groundsmen, and he said that Saab, if I make a bowling friendly wicket, I think it was a bowler. It was Rashid Khan. He asked one of the curators or one of the groundsmen that why don't you make a bowling friendly wicket? He said no one will come, and then I'll lose my job. So you were right in that way. It could be a possibility that they may make a batting friendly wicket, and then considering how deep am I bat, they may be very competent compared to the other sides as well.
That's all right, but and I agree with that to an extent that they will make batting friendly wickets. But the fact still remains they're only playing on 3 grounds, and when the pitch
To
is so
heat
you
and
overused, I think, and especially with the heat, the cracks will open up. So that spin factor then comes up, especially in the later half of the
True.
tournament.
Yeah.
later out.
I think, yeah, I think, yeah.
I think for me, MI might finish fifth or sixth. They might be in a position like had been in 2014, a win or die situation in the last match or last 2 matches or so. But I don't think they'll have an exceptional season like they have been having for the past few years.
For me personally, I think they're a great squad, but for me personally, the other squads are inching over them. I want to place them also at fifth position, but for me, I think KKR is just edging them out. So I'm going to have to put them at the sixth position. This is going to break a lot of hearts. Obviously, this is just my prediction. But I think considering the fact, and if you look at the other squads and the quality that they have, not only in the spin department, but also of the players equipped to play spin, I think overall, Mumbai Indians for me would finish on the sixth position.
So yeah, guys, that was the video. If you guys like this video, please do give this a thumbs up. Do subscribe to our channel for more freshly brewed trading content. And yeah, on that note, I guess that's the Mumbai Indians, the highly requested video that you guys have been constantly telling us to make. So here it is, and
Let
hope
us
you guys
know.
enjoyed it.
Let us know your predictions as well, and also tell us which team you're supporting, and also tell us which team you want us to analyze next. And yeah, that's it for today.
On that note, guys, see you guys in a bit. Take care.
It's like it's playtime and it's free time. In the dance, yeah, they have it like a glance. Yeah, we stepping out the room, 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 room.